everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll bring you the most positive highlights from this week at ILTV. Get ready to smile because coming up, the Israeli Antiquities Authority gets set to share its latest discoveries with the public. We'll learn all about the age-old Druze traditions, and medieval feces are shedding new light on modern health. The Israel Antiquities Authority are practically always coming out with something new, or old but new for us. Either way, there's a whole lot of antiquity to go around, and now you're invited to hear all about it.
More than 40 scholars, experts in their field, have now been gathered for an incredible and international conference set to take place online, and the public is invited to listen in for free. Hosted by the Israel Antiquities Authority, the Friends of the IAA, and in collaboration with NYU Tel Aviv, the summit has been titled The Land That I Will Show You, with session topics reportedly set to include recent excavations in Israel, religion and society in the Iron Age, new discoveries in Jerusalem, urbanization between the old and the new land of Canaan, and much more, all related to discoveries from ancient Israel. But sign up fast, because while participation and registration in the conference may be free for all, capacity has been limited and registration is required for each day of the summit you want to view. Find out more and register at the Israel Antiquities Authority Facebook page.
In other news, the phrase "reach for the stars" is taking on new meaning at Ben-Gurion University's campus in the Negev, as the school's Earth and Planetary Image facility has now been tapped to serve as a regional branch for the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, or UNOSA. And specifically, the UN wants this to be a support office for UNOSA's Spider platform, or platform for space-based information for disaster management and emergency response. The program working to leverage space for disaster risk reduction worldwide. Well, at any rate, this will make Ben-Gurion University the 25th such branch collaborating with the UN Spider, with Ben-Gurion University Professor Dan G. Bloomberg hailing the announcement, saying, "Our ability to observe Earth from space and rapidly analyze complex imagery is being put to good use worldwide, mitigating disasters such as tsunamis, earthquakes, and droughts." Next, ILTV takes a tour in one of Israel's largest Druze villages, Usafia, that preserves age-old Druze traditions.
Hi, my name is Nawal. I am a Druze woman, and I am the founder of the Heritage Druze Center in Usafia.
The Druze Heritage Center is the place to go for anyone looking to learn all about the unique and fascinating Druze community.
Wow.
שותים את זה ואז אוכלים את ה...
כן, יחד.
Wow. So yummy. It's a lot of cinnamon and sweet spices.
כן.
Nawal and her sister prepare the hot cinnamon beverage for each visitor, a welcoming gesture for those arriving here as guests to the village. There are approximately 140,000 Druze people living in Israel today, and the biggest community is located right here in northern Israel. Situated on the Carmel Mountains in northern Israel, the village of Usafia is home to almost 14,000 Druze residents and has been thriving for centuries. With a culture known for honoring hospitality and warmth, the locals here welcome visitors from all over to learn about their rich heritage and peaceful lifestyle. The Druze Heritage Center explores this unique community, the history of their culture, and tells the story of the relationship between Druze and Israel.
אני ואחותי רג'ה רצינו להראות למבקרים איך התנהלו החיים בעבר בתור שתי נשים שאנחנו גם דתיות, שתינו גם בוגרות אוניברסיטה, רצינו לחשוף את מעמדה של האישה הדרוזים שהוא שונה במעמד של נשים דתיות בעדות אחרות.
The tour around the Heritage Center highlights the traditional Druze lifestyle before the establishment of Israel.
As you can see here in the picture, first of all, you see the field over there. And what's amazing about it, if you look closely, you see that the women also work in the field.
Yeah.
Druze women. I think that they used to grow is a wheat. Wheat, of course, this thing over here. And as you can see, we have some tools that you use to spread the leaves and so on, and we left with wheat. That's the tools that you used to work with to grind it.
Were they equal, the men and the women?
Within the Druze religion, women and men should treat each other equally. So when you have a flour, you can make a dough, and that's what the women did also at home. They make the dough, and then when you have a dough, you can make a bread. And this is our Druze special bread.
Yes, I definitely recognize this bread. You could spread it with some labane cheese, which is right here.
This is what they used to do.
Delicious. They have it a lot in Israel, in the festivals in Israel, and all
Exactly.
these fairs.
This is what we call small mini taboon, if you will, and that's the way it used to be. This is a culture, this tradition, that's what we ate in the old days, that's what they continue.
Now, we spoke about the process from wheat to bread. What's next?
The next section over here, we can see some of the tools that women actually use in the kitchen, pots and so on.
Pots and pans,
Pans,
kettles,
of course, kettles.
the finjan for the coffee.
Of course.
You see that a lot too in this country.
One of the old things you can see over here is the iron. Old steel iron.
Wow.
They put it on top of the charcoals, warm it up, and then you iron your clothes over here. One of the wheat, other than making the flour, also they crush it, and we have a special dish called burghul,
Bulgur.
which is burghul.
Yeah.
So it comes from the wheat.
Now I see that the culture of the Druze people is pretty similar to the other Arab communities in the area. What makes their values or beliefs different?
First of all, Druze people, they have their own religion. Lots of the Druze people don't consider themselves as an Arabs.
In 1956, Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, declared that the Druze people are a completely independent Druze community and religion.
So today, would you say that the Druze people are assimilated into Israeli society? Do they serve in the army?
Yes, they are very assimilated to Israeli society. And by the way, the Jewish people served in the army before the existence of Israel. At that time, their units, underground units, such as called Haganah. Haganah means defense.
Oh,
Lehi,
wow.
Etzel, Palma. The Druze people from these villages here in the Carmel Mountain used to buy weaponry from the Arab mafias at that period of time, moving it to the Jewish settlement, helping building the Jewish settlement.
Let's talk about that bride. It's always interesting to hear about different cultures and how they used to get married and how the bride looked and what they wore.
The bride, since the beginning, this is the dress up of the bride. The only difference today that it got a little fancier and more expensive.
Now I see that she's
Same
very
tradition.
modest.
Yes.
She's wearing long sleeve
Covering
dress,
all of it.
covering, the chest and everything.
The more religious people wear traditional clothing, which consists of a white headscarf or turban and a black or blue robe. Badia and I then went exploring to check out the highlights of the village.
I'm gonna take you to one of the spots where all started from here. The heart of the old village starts over here. Actually, this village is about 500 years old. Starts with two families the first one who came over here, and actually they settled just behind this arch over here. Later on, gathered more families to these two, and became one of the biggest Druze villages here in Israel.
Now, how many people lived here at that time? It was probably a small community at the time, right?
Correct. Small communities, 500-600 people.
And today?
Today we have about 14,000 people who lives in here.
Wow.
80% of them are Druze, 20% are Christians, Muslims, and we have about 64 Jewish families that lives in this village.
When you
Think
say
about-
Jews, it sounds like Druze. So,
Right.
So you said eight.
Druze.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely amazing. What could we see from here? A lot of different cities.
Right. Here,
Almost the whole region we could see from this spot.
the direction is northwise. To the left is the city of Haifa, Mediterranean Sea, as you can see as well. The arch inside the sea over there, that's the old city of Akko. Beyond that, we have the city Nahriya, and beyond that, Rosh Hanikra, which is the border between Israel and Lebanon.
Oh wow. But I love how you could see half of the view is the city and half of the view is
the mountains.
Is the mountains.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Did this used to be a synagogue or does a Jewish family live here?
No, this is private Jewish family.
Jewish
House.
family? So why is the Jewish star above the door?
So we have 5 holy prophets,
Okay.
represented by 5 colors. Sometimes I can show you, I have it in the bag. Sometimes could be a flag like this one. So it could be a flag, could be any picture with the same 5 colors or anything with the 5 colors.
So it doesn't
Could be
really
star,
matter.
could be Star of David. This is Jewish family house. Now I'm going to show you the praying house of the Druze people, which called Khilwa.
Khilwa.
Khilwa means secluded.
Is this open once a week? How often is this?
The
house of worship
Druze
open?
religious pray 2 days in the week.
Each Druze village has their own house of prayer, right?
Exactly, exactly. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 of them.
So thank you so much, Badia. The Druze culture is really a fascinating one. I'm happy we came here today and I hope to be back soon.
I hope
Thanks
so.
so
I
much.
hope you'll come back. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that tour a little bit and a little talk about the Druze people.
And now let's take a look at ILTV's interview with an archaeologist from Cambridge University on the historical significance of ancient poop. Take a look at this.
Archaeologists are working hard studying insights gleaned from medieval feces. Yes, you heard me right. A new study published by Cambridge University now shedding light on the historical significance of old poop. And joining me now with the details is Dr. Piers Mitchell, archaeologist from Cambridge University. Dr. Mitchell, this is something I didn't think I'd ever say. Now, but you worked on this study. What were you looking for and what did you find?
Well, the important thing about understanding people that lived in the past is to understand all the elements. It's not just the jewelry, the pottery, the buildings, but you also want to understand the health of our ancestors as well. So one of the things that's important when we understand health in the past is to look at all aspects of health. Now, we eat every day, we go to the toilet every day, it's a normal part of health, but in many societies, it's something people feel a bit embarrassed about, things that you don't talk about, but there's no reason for that. So the study that we did looked at the sediment that was from inside a shared toilet from the Christian quarter of the old city of Jerusalem, just north of the Holy Sepulchre. It dates to about 14th and 15th century AD. And what we did was to look in it for all the different kind of microbes and organisms that you would find in the intestines of the people that used it. And what's really special about it is that we didn't just look for parasites and other objects using microscopy, but we also studied the ancient DNA to look at all the different microbes in there. We looked at not only the parasites, but we looked at the bacteria, the fungi, the viruses, the archaea, everything that was in there.
So what are the implications of this? How do you extrapolate what you found?
Well, we all know that to have a healthy intestine in modern times, you have to have a well-balanced range of microbes in your intestines. We share our intestines with millions and millions of little microbes, and they help us to digest our food, but they also keep our intestines healthy. And in some modern populations, we find that the industrialized world has resulted in us missing or being short of some of the range of microbes that we've evolved to have as a species. And when that happens, you're more likely to have allergies, you're more likely to have intestinal diseases. such as inflammatory bowel disease, and you're more likely to have problems with weight gain and obesity, for example.
Wow.
So what scientists would love to know is what is the perfect microbiome to have in our intestines? What's the perfect mixture of all these organisms that we should have? And so the best way to study that is to look at intestine contents from before industrialization, before antibiotics, before fast food and sterilization and so on, to see what our ancestors would have had. So that's what's special about this research, is it looks at people from 500 years ago to see what their microbiome was like. And that will help us to know what modern microbiomes should be and how we can help patients who may be deficient of certain groups.
Wow. Well, so was there anything particular about the samples from Jerusalem that you found that stood out?
Yes. So we compared modern microbiomes in industrialized societies with modern microbiomes in hunter-gatherers around the world, in East Asia, in Africa, and so on. And then we compared with these pre-industrial samples. And what we found was that samples from Jerusalem and the other site we studied in Riga, they had some characteristics of modern microbiomes, some of the hunter-gatherer societies, but also there was a sort of intermediate form where they were showing a pattern that doesn't match hunter-gatherers or modern societies, which showed that in the past the microbiome was different to what we have today, and that the way we're treating ourselves to reduce infectious diseases, because no one wants to die of diarrhea or dysentery, but getting rid of those has the impact that we're losing some of the healthy, friendly microbes in our intestines that our ancestors would have had in the past.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I can't wait to see the full results of your research. Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for being with us.
Been a pleasure.
Are you looking for a unique dining experience? Well, that's exactly what you get at the Meal in Colors event at Abu Ghosh. ILTV went to check it out.
Israelis are always looking for ways to stay on top, especially in the culinary world. Today we're going to attend an event where we'll enjoy some innovative dishes inspired by the chef's passion for combining both food and art. Ever sat at a restaurant with no menu and without any idea of what you're going to be served? Well, that's exactly how it is here for the customers at the Meal in Colors event in Abu Ghosh.
People are coming here more prepared to experience something different.
Customers are expected to forget the norms of the traditional restaurant experience and enjoy a night full of delectable culinary surprises.
When you go to the restaurant, you can read the menu and pick your own food. Here, nobody explains you what you're going to eat. And you experience it by seeing it, by smelling it.
The event consists of 7 extremely well-thought-out dishes, each planned to a T and cooked to perfection.
In this color menu, we play with different fields of perception, with perception of colors, of vision, of flavors, of tastes. All of this to give the customer a different experience.
Each dish is served in a uniform color, each representing its own theme and with its own story to tell.
So now I'm plating the appetizer, which will be the only dish in this whole dinner that carries many, many different colors and many different places on the spectrum. We start by this so we can play a bit with their mind. And I really love this Japanese aesthetics.
So this is the orange dish. For every dish, I had a special music list prepared. So this is Ladino, actually. It's Jewish music from Spain.
Okay.
This dish is about the warmth, about the sense of family.
Wow, so original. Amazing. So smooth and creamy. Gives you that warm feeling that he was talking about.
The favorite dish today was the sweet bread, which looked very nice and was very tasty. I couldn't guess what it was.
Neither could I.
I loved it.
In the green dish, you'll find lots of fresh and flavorful herbs that Nadav foraged himself.
You want to try? We'll take from a big one. It's very strong. This is very bitter.
It is bitter. Spicy. Who knew these herbs have such a strong flavor?
The unique dish, which consists of nuts, berries, eggplants, and many herbs, was intended to give diners the sense that they're exploring the color and flavors of a natural forest.
This is absolutely amazing. Such interesting flavors. I'm enjoying every bite.
The unique event house in Abu Ghosh called Hamatpera is designed in an eclectic industrial style as it was once a sewing workshop. Today it hosts private and cultural events of all kinds.
Art and food have all over the years a complicated relationship, and we're trying to bring food for a higher level as art.
And Sacha Baron Cohen is back at it again, mocking numerous celebrities and high-profile figures in his new movie, Borat, subsequent movie film. This film is about a fictitious Kazakh journalist who travels through the United States to make a documentary which features real-life interactions with Americans.
No, it's not me.
Borat, come back!
People make recognize my face. I would need disguises.
This man is a sex criminal?
No, no sex criminal.
I will take this to be a fat like American man.
Yeah? This is a good one. Where is his crumb? What is problem, officer?
Got somebody that's strapped to the top of your car. You need to sit in that passenger seat, boss.
Only men and bears are allowed inside car. I'm here to give my daughter as a gift to someone close to the throne.
I need dress with real sexy peels.
All right, well, that's it for today's Good Week Israel. I hope we've helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Nittany Manson, and I'll see you next week.